Hello and welcome, my Capricorn collectors, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign. Welcome to your Samhain season, Mercury Retrograde in Scorpio reading for, well, October into November, mostly November 2019. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, the Mark Angel of Lyons, Mal for short. That's what my friends call me. Feel free to. And professional witch, professional intuitive, and president of Drawing the Circle Productions, 21 plus years in business. So excited for this new adventure in my career as a YouTube reader. Yes, witch. To my subscribers, welcome back. Thank you for following along, helping me get to those 1,000 subscribers so I can do super live chat, because that just feels like that's going to be so much fun. I'll be doing that a couple of times a week, I'm sure. So if you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe before you leave. You actually do it right now. If you want, just go clickety click click. You know what I mean, Capricorn. It's slow and steady wins the race, right? I'm a Virgo. Virgo Sun, Pisces Moon, Leo Rising, and Mercury in Libra. So let's get some of the basics down here. First of all, Samhain, if you're not familiar with the word, it is Celtic. It means summer's end, but we mostly associate it with Halloween, right? Well, Halloween to me is the secular part of it, right? It's trick or treat, bobbing for apples, dressing up like slutty whatever. Oh, I'm a slutty cop. Oh, I'm a slutty nurse. Oh, I'm a slutty cat. You know, whatever. It's all good. No shame in my game, honey. You dress however you want to dress. But Samhain is the most solemn of High Holy Day in the pagan wheel of the year, right? So the astrological correspondent that you're looking for that is 15 degrees. The sun is at 15 degrees Scorpio. That's the actual cross quarter, like you think of the wheel of the year. The crosses, the solstices, and the equinoxes. The cross quarters are really the hidden Sabbaths. They're the ones that not everybody knows about. So this is the 8th spoke in the 8-fold wheel of the year. So it's sort of like the dark moon of the sun, if you will, the dark sun. It's the dying time, the time of transformation, to let the field lay fallow, right? The going to ashes, so that we can rise again, both at Yule and at Ostara or autumnal equinox, so winter solstice, spring equinox. These are general reads, and you know what? Having only 3 left to do, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, I gotta say, oh, I just had a client, right? I did a video chat client on Facebook Messenger who saw the Cancerian one. She's a Cancerian, and she was like, Mark, how the fuck did you know that? How did you know that? I'm like, I knew these readings were gonna be intense. So please, if this does not resonate, it's not your read. That's why I always do, like, at least Sun, Moon, Rising, right? But, you know, Venus for relationships, Mercury for Mercury retrograde, everything else is so outer in the orbits that they're generational. I like working with personal planets in signs for this work. So please do check out your other signs. I've actually had people, you know, if you're really getting triggered, that's why it says, like, right in the description box, trigger warning, because, like, this is about embracing the shadow. This is what we need to look at, what we need to alchemize from lead to gold. Shadow work, right? Embracing the shadow, deep inner child work, all this kind of stuff. This is the time of year to do it. Not like you can wait all year long, but if you really learn how to do it or gain a new level of mastery of it during this season, it's going to be, you'll have more wisdom and skill for the rest of the year, because we always have to love what rises. It's a healing path, right? The spiritual path, whatever you want to call it, your healing path. And of course, relationships are in this. This is not necessarily a path of true love read. All of my readings tend to be about the path of true love, because it's a path of becoming unconditional love, which is the truth of who we are. Michelangelo chipping away the excess marble. God made the statue of the David. Ain't that right, David? Yes, Mark. He's so cute. He's so tiny, though. He's like a mini gay. Pocket gay. Okay. So is that it? Is that all I wanted to cover? Please like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so if it triggers you, look, this is how you know if a reading is for you. If you go, or it's for you, it's called intuitive animation, right? It's hitting you in a chakra. It's hitting something buried inside of you. It's called resonance, right? But this is what a reading looks like when it's not for you. Meh, right? It's not your reading. So, you know, I am a spiritual teacher first and foremost. I mean, I've been reading cards longer. I started when I was 12 years old. But I have been a professional speaker for decades. I started when I was 22. Spiritual teaching, standing up in front of crowds, you know, just being out there and being fun. So, you know, I am used to kind of talking people through the rougher aspects of the personal pathway, because my shit's been dragged through it myself by my spirit guides, God's masters, teachers, angels, my higher self saying, come on, this is the last time you're going to have to do this for this level, right? So let's dive in, my Capricorns. Look, slow and steady wins the race. Like I said, I just had a client, so my energy is wicked high. I've got Wonder Coffee. Themysciran beans. Yum. Amazon beans. Not from the Amazon, interestingly enough, Sumatra. So let's do this. I have to remember to breathe. So every now and again, my guides will say, breathe, because I'm either going too fast, I'm not grounded, I'm not being in the present moment, because the energy is high, and I'm really glad I'm doing an earth sign. So shall we? We're going to start with 1 Caroline Myss archetype card to represent your dominant archetype, the soul power that you will be alchemizing, or can be, let's put it that way, can be dealing with alchemizing for this Samhain tide. Now, technically, Samhain is a season. You can see it as a month and a half, which would be between Samhain and winter solstice, but really, technically, because it's a cross quarter, it's a 3-month season all the way until Imbolc, the beginning of February 1st, February 2nd, depending on which calendar or tradition you're working with, right? Really the first spring holiday, Imbolc, in February, but here on Long Island, it's a fucking ice brick, so it doesn't feel like spring, but it's the banishing of winter. So, shall we? Let's dive in. Take a deep breath, ground and center, call in your guides while I'm doing this shuffle. My collective pantheon of angels, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, 1 archetype card to represent this Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Samhain season and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. What is the dominant archetype that they will be dealing with, alchemizing the lead to gold, bringing the shadow of light for their well-being, the well-being of all? Oh! Now, it's funny, this card I made in the Caroline Myss archetype deck, she gives you blank ones. So I pulled the card of the witch, because there wasn't no witch card in there. I'm like, we need a witch. So this one I get to, usually on the other cards, there's stuff written on the light and the shadow, but I think I'm rather familiar with the shadow and the light of the witch archetype. Number 1, being a witch. Number 2, dealing with witches of all. I'm an eclectic, darling. So I did my traditional work. Don't want to talk about it. I did coven life. Dunsey onesie. I'm glad being a solitary for the rest of my life. And, you know, it's so funny. I kind of live in the woods. I live in the mountainous region of Long Island, Holbrook. So people literally have to come to the cottage in the woods to find the witch. I'm very Granny Weatherwax, or at least I'm getting there. I still got some Githa-Og in me, I'm sure, but very little Magrat left. So what is the shadow side of the witch archetype? Essentially, it's using the wisdom, everything that you've learned, which is wise person, gender neutral, that's how I'm playing it at least, using it for ulterior motives, for destructive means, to get what you want at all costs, right? To curse rather than bless. But as I just said to the client that I had, sometimes your blessings to you come through you as blessings, but they curse the other people. Like, may you be blessed with everything you need to heal. A little passive aggressive, right? But no, really, may you be blessed, because sometimes what somebody needs to heal is a nervous breakdown, or the loss of their job, or the destruction of a relationship based on illusion, based on lies and deceit. So, you know, the shadow attribute of the witch, I think we know what that is. That's the wicked witch, right? No empathy, right? Won't heal, and will use the power and the knowledge, not necessarily the wisdom, but the power that she's gained, he gained, which is gender neutral, to do harm. Right? Now, look, I am not Wiccan, but I adopt the Wiccan read because I understand quantum physics. Just saying. I want to infect the quantum field with grace, right, with blessings. Not that they don't come back to me multiplied. That's not the point. It's because that's what I came in to do, and I want to complete my role in the divine plan and fulfill my contracts. So then what's the positive side? What's the light, the gold of the witch? Well, it certainly ain't Glinda. Glinda, if she was a real witch, she would have said, honey, click your heels and go, day 1, right? Well, at least that's a New York witch, not an Oz witch. Oz witch sounds like something between 2 slices of bread, probably green too. No, and I'm not talking about the white witch, which is just so fucking racist to me at this point. It's sort of like when the Ascended Masters were called the Ascended Masters of the Great White Brotherhood. When they started showing up in my life, I'm like, first of all, who named you that? That is racist as fuck. The Great White Brotherhood totally sounds like a clan meeting. So then what is the light witch? It's one who uses their life to accumulate wisdom to serve, which is a job title. Right? It's the wise one. It's the shaman. Now, the shaman archetype is a different archetype, but we would definitely place the witch in the wisdom family, right? So one who lives wisely and well for their own betterment and for the well-being of all, right? They're here to be instruments of the divine to work through in terms of wisdom, in terms of helping them. And here's the other thing. Witches don't go door to door. People come to the witch. Sometimes we are the last cookie in the spirituality box because nothing else is working. They come to us battered and bruised, right? You feeling me if you're a witch? And even if you don't self-identify as a witch, then this is really about your own wisdom put into practical form in a wise way. Rock and roll. This is fun. I'm excited for this. Yay. That card does not come up that often. What we're going to do now, because this is sort of like the Bane energy, representing the archetypal pattern schemata that you are working with this Samhain and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. God, goddess, help us all. So what we're going to do is pull one card from the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, the Suit of Problem, the Womp Womp cards, if you're one of my subscribers, Womp Womp, right? The Debbie Downer cards. So important to know to clarify that lead. And then in the other half of the deck, and it's pretty much 50-50, are the other three suits, the Healing deck, the Grace deck, and the Luck deck. So one for the lead, one for the gold. Breathe. Because the deeper and slower the breath is, the less shallow the mind, the more receptive, the more grounded we are. Because now it's not just about accumulating wisdom, it's about integrating the wisdom through our choices, our decisions, our words, right? Our conduct. So to breathe, prana, chi. So imagine it's what it is. Every time you inhale, you're inhaling chi and prana and life force, reiki, shmeiki, eggs, and bakey. And then every time you exhale, it is releasing anything that is ready to go. So you can't inhale everything you ever will need all at once, and you can't exhale everything that you want to get rid of all in one. But if you make that conscious, if you make that deliberate, if you understand that breath is life, then you are literally moving that life force through you. So breathe. See, I told you I'm a spiritual teacher first and foremost, but what do you want? My masters, please, one card in clarity for this Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign here to help clarify the shadow, the lead in this witch archetype for this Cancerian. Oh, we've got jealousy. Throwing saints into the sea. That guy's so cute. That lead singer. Got enough guy. Oh, I can't say anything. I'm wearing eyeliner. Guyliner. So what are we talking about jealousy here? Now, I have a very interesting and intimate relationship with jealousy because I'm self-employed. A lot of people are jealous of me because I'm self-employed, right? Meanwhile, I traveled all over the damn place for decades, teaching and doing readings. I was called the tarot paramedic back in in the late 80s, early 90s, because I had a red Jeep with a white cloth top, right? So I put in my dues. I'm very, very glad to be working from my own home at 51 years old. So what's the jealousy that rises in me? When the fuck is it my turn? How come they get that? They don't remember, and that's all the shadow. And if we don't give a healthy voice to it, it possesses us and makes us do crazy shit. Now, jealousy is to me a bit of a watered down version of the deadly sin of envy. All right, envy, it's the third eye shadow, and the grace that heals, neutralizes it, transforms it, alchemizes it is the grace of knowledge. If you like, go check in the description box. I've written 2 ebooks so far. The third one is still in edits. The first one's Spell Ingredients, which is just fun. That's like $10. And the second one is Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, and that's where I go into the 7 chakras, their shadows, their graces. It's essentially a book of prayer with some fun stuff, because you know me, I'm fun. If you don't know me, I am fun. So we're looking at a much watered down version here. So, you know, the thing about, even if you don't identify as a witch, I will tell you, being a witch, sometimes it's like, well, Well, when will people stop thinking I worship Satan? It's not even in my pantheon. I'm outside of the Judeo-Christian loop on that one, right? I'm pagan. Or, you know, how many times have guys been really interested in me until they saw the pentacle, right? It's fuck, when am I gonna, when? So it's usually a timing thing. So what you do is you allow that voice to be heard within you. It needs to be lifted into light, but you don't let it possess you. This is what shadow work is. Shadow work is not about being possessed by this shadow pain and burning down the village. No, 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 no. No keying of cars, right? No Molotov cocktails or Molotov cockteas, if you know what I'm talking about, Samson. This is about not get a hold of your jealousy, but allow that shadow voice. It's like that child inside of us. When's it my turn? How come they got the Barbie dream house? Where's my G.I. Joe thermonuclear device? It's not fair. It's not fair. And if we don't allow that to have its voice to breathe, it just wants to be heard and loved. And just like an angry child, it's okay, sweetheart. I know you'll get yours. It will come. It will come someday. I'm here for you. I don't know what. Don't lie to the kid inside of you. I don't know when it's going to come, but I love you. I'm here. Because the things that we want that we can't seem to not want, it's an intuitive thing. It's, oh, I am going to have that, just not in the timing that I want it, right? So it's about impatience, jealousy, impatience, frustration. It's all sort of on that same vibrational wavelength. So let's get you a little light here, some light to help alchemize that, please, my masters. Same thing for this Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Samhain season, and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. Please, what's some light to help them alchemize this? Laughter, right? Just laugh. Just laugh. You know, I futzed with the light. I futzed. It's still too bright. And then I did them and they were too dark. Yeah, what do you want? I'm a witch. I'm not a tech guy. So that laughter. Not to laugh at the jealousy, but here's what I'm going to recommend. Oh, 333. It's 333. Ding, 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 ding. When you let it speak and you let it really go there, you don't act on it, like I said, but the shadow work of, it's okay, honey, let's be jealous. I'm here with you. I love you. Thank you for being jealous, because you're telling me how much we really want this, that we're actually in pain because we don't have it. And I'm here to love you. I'm not here to help you. I'm not here to change you, this energy, this emotion inside of me. But I'm here to breathe. I'm here to be with you. I love you. It's okay. It's okay. You haven't done anything wrong. It's okay for you to feel this. And then when that child really gets its voice, the shit it says, it's just like, I want them all to simmer. I want them to bleed through every pore. Now, by the way, if you are actually a witch and you have the skills and means to make something like that happen, or think that you do, that you let that wicked witch, jealous witch cackle inside of you, and it will make you laugh, but it's not derisive laugh. It's like, whoa, honey, I didn't know that was in there. Oh, I love you so much. Wow, you fucking powerhouse. You are badass. And we are integrating the ego. We're not banishing the ego. We're integrating it. We're alchemizing it from lead into gold. Because even if it feels demonic, what's a demon but an angel that has forgotten what it is? Yeah? So what does it need? That's the next in line to be loved. So if there is, and you know, it might not be popping up right now. This is about an entire season, right? And Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. I'd be surprised if all of us didn't have jealousy, envy, the 7 deadly sins marching up and knocking on the inside of the third eye, wanting to come out. Throat chakra, let me speak, damn it. All those times that we were told to shut up, right? Here's the opportunity. But you don't post it on Facebook. You keep it behind the castle wall, as it were. You pull up the drawbridge and you love that child. That is really inner child work and shadow work. I don't think there's that much of a difference. I know a lot of witches go, oh, inner child work. You know, a lot of shamans, but you know, the true shamans will be like, it's all the same thing. It's just different language for the same process. That's why I prefer the term spiritual alchemy, honestly. Lead to gold, lead to gold. So what we're going to do is go deeper on this with 5 tarot cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, the tarot I have been reading the longest in my very, very long career as a reader. I love this deck. We're going to take the top 5 cards doing the element spread: fire, earth, air, water, spirit. You'll see. Take a deep breath. Persephone just said, have a sip. I make the best coffee. Here we go. My gods. Top 5 cards, element spread. Persephone in particular, please. This deck is blessed for this Capricorn collective, so please, top 5 cards, element spread. In terms of this Capricorn witch archetype, dealing with jealousy and healing with laughter. Please, fire, what is it that they really want here? Earth, what do they have to fuel the fire of what they want? What is the air? What do they think about? What are their thoughts about what they want here? Water, what are their emotions, what they feel about what they want? And spirit, what is the overview? Top 5 cards, element spread. Thank you, my goddess, maiden. Oh, Mother Crone. So the top card here really wanted to come out. It was going to be in the bottom of the cut, but it ended up being the top. I take that as guidance. Take a deep breath. What do you want? Your element of fire is the Emperor. Now in this deck, the Emperor and the Hierophant are sort of fused into one. This is the great god Pan, seen as youthful, supportive, healthy, and balanced. So just with the first card down here, we can say that what you really want is healthy masculine energy in you and in your life. We all have a balance of masculine, feminine in us. I am definitely a divine feminine if people are going to identify themselves that way. Look at me. I'm a divine feminine top. Go figure. But, you know, my divine masculine energy needs as much healing as my divine feminine energy does. We all do. So in terms of your element of fire, this can be about being in healthy control, right? You want to be in healthy control. Well, and for some of you, it's like you want your Emperor. Now, this is not gender specific. We're not talking about, you know, biological gender. We're talking about energetic dynamics. So perhaps if you can consider yourself as a divine feminine, you want your partner, right? You want someone who is your equal. That the Empress is the amalgamation of all of the queens in the tarot, which this deck does made Mother Crone, but you know, I'm going to use standard tarot language. The Emperor, the amalgamation of all of the kings. So definitely something there about divine masculine energy. This isn't just about a guy, although it could be a guy embodying the Emperor. We're looking at an energetic dynamic, a divine masculine energy. So if you think of that as the candle flame, what is the wick? The element of earth, the fuel. And the Virgo card. Now, so if you're a Virgo, great, except this is a Capricorn read, and I can't say, you know, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, because it says right on the card, Virgo. That's what I love about this deck. No ambiguity in terms of zodiacal correlation. And yeah, if you've got a Virgo person in your life, maybe it's like, that's not what I'm getting. What I'm getting is this is about 6th house energy. Healing and occupation, right? Health and occupation, and they are connected. Occupation is not just about what you do for money. Occupation is what are you occupied with, because it has a direct effect, as a cause and effect in terms of your health, right? So I've been just saying this for decades. It ain't pretty, but you know, crackheads are occupied with crack, getting it, smoking it, getting some more, right? Obviously not sustainable, not really working for anybody. So that's going to affect their health. So this is about you sort of filtering the element of Virgo, earth. It's mutable earth, like sand. And that was the original filter, right? We used to actually put water through sand to, I don't know, strain out alligator crap. I don't know, whatever was going on in the Nile, crocodile crap. So to that filtering, and it is, and I am a Virgo, so I know a lot about Virgo, it's the intestines, right? A filtration system. So there might be a bit of sorting out here, focusing on the detail of your life, but also occupation and healing. Take a look at what you are occupied with. Not that you necessarily have to stop being occupied with something, but you'll know how your body feels, whether or not what you are occupied with, if it's repetitive, if it almost cyclic or in some ways addictive, then it's a distraction tactic of the ego to keep you from making the very change you have to make, right? That it's saying, well, yeah, I know I should really do that, but instead I'm going to do this, right? Then you are ignoring the dictate of the soul. The soul is saying, no, you really need to do this. You really need to look at this, that we need to be bold, we need to be brave, and we need to breathe our way through this so that we can stay in the present moment, receive the guidance and the grace that we're asking for. Otherwise, why are you watching a YouTube video from a reader, right? There's something you want to know. This is saying also go with your gut. So pretty good start for these two. Element of air, what are you thinking? What is the air that feeds the fire? And here we've got temperance, right? A card of alchemical balance, balancing the fire of desire, which here you've got the Emperor, and water of emotion, which will be the next card down. So that should elucidate. Now this is about discipline. Tempered steel, they beat the crap out of that shit, but it becomes unbreakable. Take that as a metaphor. So if you have had the crap kicked out of you, like many of us have, know that the way this world has always been set up, but we're only catching on to it now, although we've had masters, you know, Buddha, certain beings throughout time who were fifth dimensionally based, say it to us that everything in this world is happening for us. Everything here is here to help us. But what's new is, oh, we don't have to like it. We can evenly actively resist it. But if we can at least go, all right, on some level, this is happening for me, right? You know, at least that acknowledgement, we can play along and be as bitter and angry as we want, because the unconditional love that sent us here, right, into these lives to play these roles. The name of my character is Markangelo Lyons, Mal for short. That's not the name of my soul. My soul is not masculine or feminine. My soul is whole, W-H-O-L-E, not to be confused with Courtney Love's 90s band Celebrity Skin, one of my favorite albums still, all right? So this thing of temperance, of patience, of internal work, of internal balance in the mind. So the mental capacity here to not be disciplined with your mind, like, watch, don't think that, watch, don't think that. But like we said with this card of jealousy, envy being the shadow of the third eye, that it's about, okay, I am going to feel the fire and feel the water. I'm going to feel the, fuck, I want that, and why? I fuck about fire water. That's whiskey. Don't. Unless you have Alka-Seltzer handy before you go to bed. My little potion secret there. You're going to feel that. You're going to allow that to rise into the mind, and you're going to love what rises. You're going to bring that into balance. But it takes, see, the discipline there is then not acting on it, right? To let that envious witch inside of you, that wicked witch, I want to burn every piece of wax that I can get my hand on, so that they're like, as this candle burns and melt, may they have a nervous breakdown. That's a fucking nightmare. Or you could say, may they be blessed with a nervous breakdown so that they grow and heal and learn and become the best that they can be. Really, what's the difference between a blessing and a curse? Only in the third dimensional paradigm, the illusion of separation, can they be separated, where really anything that happens is part of the divine plan, but you have to participate in the divine plan. So what you feeling? What's your water? Third major arcana card out of 4, the Lovers. Now look, if this is about romance, I know everybody wants the Lovers card to be about romance, but really it's a card of decision that comes from the alignment of the masculine and the feminine within you. Shall I illustrate? The feminine is the emotion, the masculine is the mental, right? So you've got mental, emotional, but the throat, right? So you got third eye, heart. The throat has to choose. What do I say? What do I do? So I've been saying for decades now, I know how to torture a woman. Put a brownie in front of her, because the heart chakra will go, give me that fucking brownie. Hey, I want that brownie. But the mind will go, oh no, I can't just possibly, I just can't. And what do? Incongruence, right? Conflict, head and mind going in different directions. This is about bringing them emotionally into alignment, right? To make an intuitive, open heart, open mind, clear, loving heart, clear, loving mind, to make the wise decision. And let's be clear, a decision is not just a choice. A decision is like a choice on steroids. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. This is a choice. The consequence, that was so good, and I'm going to have to go potty after this reading, right? A decision, life-changing. like falling in love, like allowing yourself to move forward. So if that's what this is about, great. It's probably not for everybody in this. So remember, even if you're watching other readers on YouTube, we're reading hundreds of thousands of people. And did my camera just freeze? No, there we go. Okay, good. I thought my camera froze. It did, but it's back. Glad I caught it. So the pretty, I mean, you've got the Emperor, Temperance, and the Lovers, and a Court card here, the Virgo card. So there's also something about service in here. They're showing me now with this kind of amped up vibe with all these major arcana cards. Make sure you are taking care of yourself and your element of earth, right? It's saying with that Virgo there, to make sure with all of this going on that yes, you may be as an earth sign willing to serve others, some service in the world, but make sure you're not leaving yourself out of that, that you have to be in some way occupied with your own health and healing through this. What's the spirit? What's the overview? Okay, here we go. The Four of Cups, sorrow, right? 3 cups spilled, 1 cup standing. So that there is an emotional purge. Now, whether or not that is literally sorrow, like if you're feeling sorrow, then yes, this is about you are doing an emotional detox. I learned the phrase love what rises from a spiritual teacher called Matt Kahn. I talk about him a lot because he's really helped me as a Virgo. I know he's not, I don't know what his sign is actually, but he's helped me like see things from a totally different way, like taking all these old, I don't want to say crusty dusty, but some of the spiritual truths we're dealing with were communicated in the illusion of separation. So, you know, and then you have the game of, you know, centuries of telephone, even before telephone was invented, right, gets distorted. It's sort of like what the ego does. It takes spiritual truth, gets really excited, and then it distorts it like crazy to its own means, hence the spiritual ego. When the ego uses your own spirituality against you, well, I guess you didn't have enough on your vision board. I guess you didn't do enough affirmations. I guess your Reiki did not unblock that chakra, right? What? The stuff that we go through on the path. So loving what rises, exactly what I'm talking about here with this jealousy, to give it that voice in a safe way. I call it emotional exorcism, but it is alchemy. And it's not you trying to heal anything. It's about you bringing the love. You bring the love to that voice. The love does the healing. Yeah. So if you're really dealing, well, even if you're angry, underneath anger is pain. And underneath pain is vulnerability, right? And it's the vulnerability we're all terrified of, being vulnerable, because we don't realize that everything that happens in this quantum hologram called life on planet Earth, that we are ghosts in the machine, we are souls that were chosen to play these roles, like in the game, not the operators from above, but in the game, first person, what do they call that, shooter point of view game. That this is what we came in to do. And as you heal, embrace, and transform what rises inside of you, you clear it for the quantum. You clear it, like, okay, if you purge it all from you, loving it, lifting it, alchemizing it, does it clear it in everybody across the planet? I don't know. That's in the collective unconscious, hence the word unconscious. I don't know. But after every huge emotional exorcism that I have done, and I have done my share for sure, comes this lightness of being, right? The near unbearable lightness of being, right? This bliss, this peace, as then all that has been excavated and taken out on the exhale, if you will, is refilled with grace, refilled with light, refilled with divine love, true love, who we really are. In other words, we're transforming, making room inside of us for more and more of the higher self to fully embody. And that's what it's about now. Integrating, living according to the highest truth we are aware of. Understand that there will always be a higher truth. Yeah. So we're not done with this. Why? Because we're going to pull Healing with the Angel Oracles from Doreen Virtue for these. So breathe. The key for me to deep breath is to deepen the exhale. The more you exhale, the more automatic the inhale tends to be. All right, my angels, please, one card in clarity for this Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign here. Please clarify this card of the Emperor here. What is it they want, my angels? Body care. Really might have come better here, but I get it. So with the Emperor, there's definitely a good chunk of you that are like, I want to take control over my own domain in terms of my own body. But body care can also be about, you know, how you're making money, the home that you're in, the car that you drive, anything that like directly interrelates with your physicality. It can certainly as well be about the Emperor. Now this is not gender specific, but divine masculine in that sense of, I want my own company. I want my own thing. Not in that ego sense, because then we've got this service here next to it in this Virgo thing, but enough of other people telling me what to do. I want to follow my own grace, my own guidance, and take care of this physical body like an emperor, meaning balanced fire, earth, air, and water, right? Wands, pentacles, fire, earth, swords, and cups. Let's look at this Virgo here. This is the fuel that feeds the fire of that Emperor with body care. So please, my angels, please clarify this Virgo card in the earth position. Celebration. To really heal through celebrating how far you've come. Now that doesn't necessarily mean champagne, because we've all been through a lot, right? Particularly Capricorns, y'all are ruled by Saturn. That's rough. Oh yeah, I'm Virgo, ruled by Mercury, and about to go retro in Scorpio. Fuck my magical life. This is very much about celebrating how far you've come, how far you've gone through, because you have garnered so much wisdom that if you occupy yourself with really saying, congratulate yourself. It's like, oh my God, you lived through this and you lived through that. And once you get in that track, it starts kind of burning off and filtering and will absolutely calm down this jealousy. It's like, but look what we've been through. We've done this and we lived through that and we healed that. And look, that one resolved itself as soon as we did that. You begin to see how much wisdom you've actually garnered. Otherwise, I don't think you'd have the witch archetype here, honestly. To really, that there is a practical service to everything that you've been through, and to celebrate that. And of course, if you are looking to start your own business, start your own thing, go out on your own, or, you know, with other people, do something, this is really a sign that's saying that your service is to be celebrated. And if you're not sure what that service is, look at what you're jealous at, right? That's where jealousy gives us insight. Oh, it's 3:53. I was born at 3:53 a.m. September 6, 1968. Go ahead, run my chart. Nothing I don't know. So to get that, there's a huge service built into you here that is absolutely, if you can look at what your jealousy is, you'll actually be able to laugh at it. It's like, oh, so it's not what they're doing, it's how quickly they got it. Well, okay, I've been through a lot, but mine's going to be different than theirs. It's a great way. It brings levity and light to the shadow, but actually you're bringing the shadow into light. Not derisive laughing, not making fun of yourself, not self-depreciative humor. This is about really laughing at how twisted we get it, right? And I never laugh at other people's sorrows or pains. I only really laugh at my own, because I see what I had to go through to get what that was all about. Not so much on a mental level, but in the rearview mirror, you go, oh my God, that was, I just cut a narcissist out of my life, and a covert narcissist. Sneaky fucks. I don't even think he knew that he was a covert narcissist. He was so covert, right? Really possessed by pain and lack of self-worth. Well, it showed me my self-worth as I said, I can't do this shit anymore, goodbye. I actually cut a lot of people out of my life last week or so. It was just like, old life, die off, bye. No conversations except for this one particular person that I love dearly and always will, but to say, sorry, I can't do this anymore. Now that I know what this is, right, I had to go through it to get the wisdom. And what's so funny is the clients that I've had since, even before I started doing the videos, they're like, I'm dealing with a narcissist. So I was like, well, I guess I know why I went through that, right? Right? So isn't that what this is saying? It's like, whatever you've been through, yes, you will have your time. Let the jealousy speak, because the service that you've learned just through what you've endured is going to really help you be the emperor of your own empire. Rock on. That's really kick-ass. That's very Capricorn. But you know, Capricorns are the mountain goats. Mountain goats don't even run up mountains, right? It's like one, I mean, some of them bounce a little, but You know, nobody runs up a mountain, but it's worth it. It's worth the climb. Enjoy the process, enjoy the viewer, as my guides say. Will you just watch the movie? Because my higher self has already lived all of this stuff. And they're like, and do you ever watch a movie with somebody you've already seen the movie, and you're like, okay, let's watch this, and they're like, what happens? What happens? What happens? Because they know you know what happens, and you're just like, shh, fucking watch the movie, right? That's the impatience that can bring on that jealousy. So breathe. My angels, please, one card to clarify. Temperance in the element of air, please. One card in clarity for my Sagittarius collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. Oh, truth and integrity. Now, what's lovely about that is, first of all, truth, which we usually identify as a mental thing first and foremost. It's also emotional. You can have emotional truth as well, something that resonates intuitively, but with integrity, that by using truth, by seeing truth. Now, to me, there is personal what's true, but then there is immutable universal truth, right? And that's harder to know. Even you can go through scripture and process and practice and still not completely be able to grasp, because there's always a higher truth. But through that, it reveals your own integrity, the strength that cannot be taken from you, the strength that is inborn, wired, the power of the soul, the spirit. That's fifth dimensional awareness. That's unity consciousness. That's saying that we are all one and we are all God. We are all, in pagan language, we are the hidden children of the gods. But to most of us, it's hidden unto ourselves, right? We don't even know that we're divine. Why? Because we had to forget that we were playing these roles. We had to be so identified with the roles to fall asleep in the role to get us to this point where now we what? Wake up out of the role. And that doesn't mean you have to change your name. That doesn't mean that you have to wear white all the time, particularly after Labor Day. Oh, what a horror. You know what that's not? That's not very stunning. Oh God, this feels so good. I always got to have a drag fan handy. Truth and integrity, that's what's going to help you do this. You really look at the truth, not just what's true. Well, I'm pissed off and I've worked really hard. Yes, that's all true. And love that, right? Celebrate that you have worked so hard, that you've put in your hours, that maybe you've nosed to the grindstone. Oh, it's a horrible image. More so than anybody else. But what's the truth is that that was part of the divine plan, and that was helping to strengthen a weakness within you, and it serves a quantum. There's a quantum service there, not just a personal or a societal one. So now this card of the Lovers. Let's find out what this is about. In the emotional field, please, my angels, please clarify this card of the Lovers for this Capricorn collective sign for Samhain. Study. Damn it. Study. There we are. Study. So before you make any decisions, make sure you've got all your information. Study the voice of the head and the voice of the heart. Like, really let both of them, because the head's gonna, the mind, we are not the mind. Even the third eye, the Sanskrit word is ajna, A-J-N-A, and it means servant. But when the servant becomes the master, that's when we get possessed by the mind. It's very Eckhart Tolle, very Power of Now, really all of his books talk about that in one way or another. So then to breathe into the heart, right? That is, study how to align the divine feminine heart and the divine masculine mind within you with the divine child. Because what is the child supposed to do? How does it choose? How does it decide if mommy says yes and daddy says no, right? Conflict. And that's what a lot of us grew up with anyway, when the mind and the intellect and the intuition do not agree. So there's a study there. Emotionally study, right? This is in the emotional field, which is another way of saying this laughter. Here, if I can grab these, this laughter and these jealousy cards, it's like study them, like a study in grapefruits, right? You know, and this piece of art is called a study of a rainy day, right? Whatever it is, Georgia O'Keeffe's. To study this, to allow it, to focus upon it emotionally, to let it teach you. Thank you very much, my angels. They are so good to me. To let it teach you so that you get how much of a service you're actually giving here, and that all of this is worth celebrating. You will give thanks for whatever roughness is going on this Samhain season and Mercury retrograde as you rethink stuff. And sometimes, particularly in Scorpio, I would think refeel stuff. Now, we've got the emotional exorcism card, right? The Four of Cups, sorrow. So please, my angels, will you please clarify that for this Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, rising Mercury sign for this Samhain tide and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. That one, top one. Self-acceptance. Self-acceptance, self-acceptance, self-acceptance through emotional exorcism, yes. Now that's the spirit card. That's the overview. That's really the name of the game for you right now. And I gotta tell you, could not be more appropriate for the Samhain season. That's so right on the money. And the best part is you don't have to post any of that on social media. It's what I call going behind the castle wall. You know, one of the best books I've ever read, Caroline Myss. I love her so much. I even use her cards in my readings. If you don't know Myss, M-Y-S-S, or go Google her. She'll kick you right in the third eye. She's the best spiritual teacher. She's my favorite female spiritual teacher. Matt Kahn, my current favorite male spiritual teacher. They are amazing, both Hay House authors. I know I'm a witch who has Hay House in his life. Don't burn me at the stake. I have good Jewish lawyers. But certainly, this is part of what this is all about. This is an opportunity to grow, to heal, to learn, to become the best that we can be. Yes? To heal this stuff, to accept it. And to me, the key phrase of acceptance that works emotionally with this shadow work is not, I accept. It's okay. It's talking to that, it's okay, honey. It's okay. Like, I've never raised kids in this life. I have cats, right? So my cats, they bitch and moan every now and again, but you know. So think of a kid who they have like a, I'm just going to go Tonka truck. That's what came to mind. And a wheel pops off the Tonka truck. And they freak the fuck out. And you know, well, pop the wheel back on, honey, but they are freaking out. What do you say to that child? Shut the fuck up or you're going to take it away from you. That was my generation, Gen Xers and previous. Go, it's okay, honey, it's okay, here, give it to me, and you pop it right back on. But if they don't let go of it, right, you can't. So what you do is you create that safe space. It's okay, little one. It's okay, I know you're upset. I know you've waited so long for this. And as you do that, this sorrow, this pain, this suffering, this jealousy, whatever shadows are in there, it's not that you're going in to try and find out the reasons why you feel that way. That's bringing light into shadow. And what happens when you focus on something else? The shadow just replenishes itself, right? This is about allowing the shadow to have its voice, particularly in this, the emotions of it, loving the emotions that rise like children within you. And then they are integrated, if you like, alchemized. Because what happens when you bring shadow into light? Disappears. Because the shadow is an absence of light, and a lot of this pain is just an absence of love. A lot of this fear is an absence of love. So as you give it the love, it's going to scream, it's going to cry, it's going to want to burn down the world and hurt itself, but you don't do any of that. Oh, behind the castle wall, I got that from entering the castle, Caroline Myss. Thank you for reminding me that you go into the castle of your soul and you pull up that drawbridge. My castle, carved of a single diamond, walls 100 feet high, 10 feet thick. Ain't nobody getting in when I pull up that drawbridge, and that's where I let it out and love it as it rises. Alchemy. We got one more card left, and then I'll just do the quickie run through. I'll pop up a picture at the end so you can see the spread from the, oh yeah, it's the right way, from the Whispers of Love Oracle. We're only pulling one of these, and this is from your higher self and higher selves of all involved. There you are, higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity, a whisper of love for this Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Samhain season, and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio 2019. Love who you are. No shit. Love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. So this is not a question of deserve with this jealousy. It is a question of when the fuck is it my turn? I came in to experience this. Where is it? But it's sort of like giving that child that freaks out. I'm not saying you're a child. I'm saying to give that pain what it wants because the wheel has popped off a Tonka truck. You're going to let them drive an actual truck? We're not ready yet for it. We're not in control of the timing. No, and believe me, I've burned enough candle wax. I've done enough chants. Sanskrit, Celtic, you name it, I've chanted it. All that really does is bring me back into my breath, back into the present moment. So love who you are, and both the soul, the personality, the ego, the body. By the way, the ego and the personality are not the same thing. The personality is the character you play, the name that you have in this life, and the ego is the collective shadow. There's only one ego, right? As you move into fifth dimensional awareness, you get that more and more. It's like everybody's got the exact same pain because it's holographic. That's why as you heal it in yourself, if you're a healer, if you're a light worker, if you're, you know, a witch who's working for healing, whatever you identify yourself is, but with the card of the witch, you got those skills. You have the process of alchemy and transformation and manifestation and all that stuff probably under your belt. You probably worked really hard for it, but you might be like, so where's my fucking manifestation? Damn it, right? This is not about you've done anything wrong. And isn't that really what this card is saying? You haven't done anything wrong. You've been preparing all of this time. You've been laying the foundation. You've been, I love this terminology, building the circuitry to be able to handle the magnificence of what you came here to do. And of course, you're going to get everything that you want when you are ready for it. Because as much as a little kid might like to play with the car keys, you don't let them drive. Number one, it's illegal. Number two, they can't even see over the fucking steering wheel, right? So love who you are. Here's your overview. We start with the witch archetype. In its shadow, it is the wicked witch. It's using wisdom and power in an unwise, harmful way to the self or another. In its light, it's about being of service. It's about being a channel of wisdom to serve the self, the path, and others on it. In the shadow here, we've got jealousy, so that's definitely, so it's the jealous witch archetype. But in the light, it's that laughter, it's that good old witch cackle, and I do love a witch cackle when it comes from seeing what we've been through and celebrating it, which is in your earth position. But now we're going to jump over to the elements spread fully, where what you want here, my caps, are this divine masculine, Pan energy, both the Emperor and the High Priest sort of amalgamated as one with body care. Most likely to be that, but also could be about wanting a masculine energy to come in and either take care of you, which is, that doesn't feel like where we're going here, but that you want that divine partner to share this physical world with, someone that you can care for and be cared by in that mutual, healthy, balanced way. And what do you have in your earth element to get that? You got the Virgo card with celebration, which yes is about service, but do not forget 6th house, occupation and healing. Let me be occupied with, instead of bitching and moaning and being jealous about what I don't have, you still have to allow those voices to come up, those feelings to be dealt with, as we see in the next few positions, but to really celebrate how far you've come and where you are. Now that doesn't mean you need to pop open a bottle of champagne because you bought new toilet paper, right? But it can mean it's like, you know what? If I really just breathe and stay in this present moment and tune into what my body is feeling, I'm okay, and this is worth celebrating. And Lord knows the climb has been long, the road is long, but I'm here. I'm here, and let me celebrate where I am and what I have, because there's so much potential here, particularly because the Virgo is the maiden here, the maiden of pentacles. So there's a fresh, new, innocent perspective here, but have the humility to know that you don't even know how to celebrate where you are, and make that the prayer. All right, I accept I do not know how to celebrate where I am right now. So I call upon my gods, my masters, my teachers, my angels, my guides, to celebrate it through me, to do it for me on my behalf for the well-being of all, right? And then what do you have there in the mental field? The element of air. You've got temperance with truth and integrity, which is about really the discipline and the patience there that brings you truth and helps you integrate that truth into at least the mind, balancing the water of the emotion, which we'll get to that card next, and the fire of your desire, which is that Emperor with body care. Now looking at the water element here, you've got the Lover's card. You know, the third out of 5 tarot cards. You got major arcana here. That's why this has got so much high voltage here. The card of the Lovers, that there probably is an incongruency between the head and the heart, making it very hard to make decisions, because your heart might say, I need to do this. This is my soul to, but the heart's coming up with reasons why you shouldn't. So to study, to learn from it, let it teach you by doing what? The Spirit card here, self-acceptance of the Four of Cups, sorrow, emotional self-acceptance, it's okay, inner child work, shadow work, spiritual alchemy, rebirthing, by the way, Sandra Roman, Leonard Orr, and Sandra Ray. There it is, Sandra Ray. I can't believe I remembered her name. Go do some research on rebirthing. It's a breathing technique, and if you can find a rebirther local that you can work with, it's better to learn it from somebody who can walk you through it, but it is essentially about emotional process work through the breath. Breathe. And what's your final message here? From your higher selves and the higher selves of all involved? Love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person, deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. And that's the truth. You are a divine being masquerading as a person, and so is everybody else. And everything in this world is happening for you. Everything here is happening to help you awaken while in the game, and still croaking and then seeing it was a game, and oh my God, if only I had, if I wasn't so afraid, if only I had went for it, if only I wasn't cowardly, if only I could have dealt with that jealousy, if only I didn't key that car, pissing their gas tank, you know, taking vengeance on somebody. Well, now I know. All right, can I go back and try it again? Of course you forget. You can do this in this life and live the highest, most satisfying, fulfilling version, quantum version of your life, which it may not feel that way at times, and you may not see it that way, and it may not gratify any part of the ego whatsoever. But in time, you look back and say, oh my God, this was all worth celebrating. That nothing you've been through is stupid, that everything you've been through is helping everything else that you're going through to help you get where you are. The good times, the bum times, I've had them all, and my dear, we're still here, right? That there is a weakness that is being strengthened in us as we go, and eventually we will look back and celebrate with gratitude. Walking away from this narcissist, closing the door, welding that shit shut, saying, I'm done, see you in the next life, maybe. Hard as it was, right? Really, Saturnian, you can't get more Saturnian than that. Maybe that's a little Scorpio, like killing it. But oh my God, thank you. The lessons that I learned as a result, and I don't hate that person, I love that person, I'll always love that person, but the soul of who they are, not the narcissistic mask that they wear. How else could I have done that? By garnering the wisdom. And what did my gods do but a week after doing that, sending me clients going through the same thing? There's a service here. So I am seeing myself a little bit in this, though I have no planets in Capricorn. So let me give you the final blessing here, but before I do, please do like and subscribe. You want me to do live streams, don't you? Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. So here's your blessing. Breathe. May the Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs be blessed with all that they need this Samhain season in Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. That everything they need to learn, to heal, to grow, to evolve, to be the best that they can be and fulfill in their role in the divine plan be given to them under grace and in perfect ways for the well-being of all. And so it is. I love you all so much, my goats. Technically, yeah, there's a goat, right? Is that a sheep? I don't know. Is that a bad thing? Hail, farewell, and blessed be. Bye.